We had 3 different times that the race should have ended, and we were able to come out ahead on all 3 of them.
This will be a popular victory in the garage.
We earned that one. What are they going to say now, baby?
How many days since my last win? That's right.
Well, I'm here with Bubba Wallace. Dude, you are now a Brickyard 400 champion, joining a long list of Hall of Famers that have also won that race. What did it mean to you, not only professionally, but personally?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just the long wait, almost 3 years since my last win. And, when my wife walked up, Amanda walked up, she said we did it. And, that still sticks with me like she said it just 2 seconds ago. So it's been a long road to get where we are. Super proud of our team. The effort having Chumba Casino on the car was just a flawless weekend. Charles said that so many times throughout the post-race interviews. It was flawless. It was just a really uneventful weekend, although we won the big event. So it was just a lot of fun.
Well, let's talk about how you won it, because I think that's what's really impressive. Yeah. You had a long red flag, and I know what happens in that car. That thing starts turning, right? It's hot in there.
Right.
And then 2 tough restarts with arguably the best driver in the world trying to take the win away from you. How did you make it happen?
Yeah, it's just believing in yourself. You surround yourself with so many good people, and that's kind of the number one thing. It's a common denominator that you tell you throughout your whole career is believe in yourself. Don't stop believing. And Charles was a big proponent of that, and so I appreciated that, and I took that and ran with it. And I know you have the preferred groove when you start on the bottom in Indy, but just going in there, holding it wide open, and making sure he didn't beat me, and nobody was going to beat me on that one.
Well, I'm going to tell you somebody who was just as happy as you. That's your car owner, Denny Hamlin. Dave Burns is with him right now.
All right, cool.
Well, it's been quite a week for Denny Hamlin, a team owner win at the Brickyard 400, and then coming here with more work to do. Even though you lead on the playoff grid, what's on the top of your mind?
Trying to get a good run today. This is it's the only oval on the circuit where I just don't have a great feel for the track. We've only been here a certain amount of time, so my experience, I can't use that to an advantage at this track. And last year it just didn't run well. Didn't feel well, and just had a bad race. And so no real good notes to go off of, and so kind of going into this one with a clean slate, trying to figure out if I can figure out how to get up front.
Mental racing challenge if he can get his 5th win of the season.
And Chase Elliott leads the regular season point standings by a mere 4 points. What's the most important thing that you and the team have to do today to ensure you leave with the points lead?
Well, we just gotta. Well, stage points is a big deal. Getting stage points has become huge. We didn't get any last week at Indy, and that hurt. You kind of get buried back in the field, and it can be hard to get forward for those stage ends. So, fortunately, I had a good qualifying effort yesterday. I thought with our Napa Chevy, so nice to be inside the top 10. Hopefully move forward from there and inch our way, closer to the front throughout the day, and the points will figure themselves out,
Chase rolls off from the 8th position.
DJ, we focus a lot on the cut line, and rightly so, with 4 races left in the regular season. But this 14 battle for the regular season championship is just as intriguing.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin against the Hendrick boys. So,
yeah,
but Denny would want it no other way. There's not a man that's going to back down from a challenge like Denny Hamlin. But Chase Elliott just talking about getting all the points. Stage points are necessary. He needs to win stages to get playoff points. This regular season championship doesn't mean as much to anyone besides him. He only has 6 playoff points at this point in time. That's 15 he can win if he can win this battle in these next 4 races.
Focusing down on the cut line, Steve, and the 4 races left in the regular season with the remaining tracks, who has the advantage?
Well, when you look here at Iowa, I don't want to rule anyone out, but really the race winners, the big names from Hendrick and Penske and Gibbs, I thought they looked good. But looking ahead to the Glen, why not Buescher? He won there a year ago. It took down SVG to do it. Or maybe Dinger, or you think about McDowell, both have won at the road courses. And a year ago, Austin Dillon, I know there was a bunch of controversy, but he went to victory lane at Richmond. That would upend everything. And then we head to the high banks of Daytona.
And speaking of that, wasn't it young Harrison Burton that just did that last year for that? So you look at that. You look at Brad Keselowski and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., both have wins at Daytona, know how to get it done. So this isn't over until that last lap is completed at Daytona in 4 weeks.
Well, Team Penske driver Ryan Blaney won the first ever Cup Series race here in Iowa. When we come back, we'll hear from the former series champ, Ryan Blaney, joins us here next on USA. Countdown to Green is brought to you by Sonic. Live free, eat Sonic. Well, here's what's on the menu presented by Sonic. Xfinity Series driver Austin Hill was suspended for one race after NASCAR determined he intentionally wrecked Eric Almirola last Sunday at Indianapolis. RCR did not appeal the suspension. An eventful practice for the Cup Series teams yesterday here in Iowa, highlighted by Kyle Busch and this wreck. Busch will start last on the field today in a backup car. And for the 6th time this year, Chase Briscoe will start from the pole this afternoon. It's his 5th pole in the last 11 races, and Briscoe will try to join Ryan Blaney as a Cup Series winner here in Iowa. Iowa Speedway, a real-life field of dreams.
This is the perfect place, perfect time.
For tonight, finally, we get to see a NASCAR Cup race in Iowa.
Under the lights in Iowa, coming off turn number 4, checkered flag in the air.
Checkered flag, number 12.
Ryan Blaney wins the inaugural Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol at Iowa Speedway.
Did this one mean a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, man, I mean, what a cool way to win here. This place means a lot to me, means a lot to my mom.
Ryan Blaney taking home the checkered flag in the inaugural Cup race here at Iowa last year, but some unknowns today. How different could this race potentially look like this afternoon?
I think it's going to look a little bit different. Being a full day race, I think it's going to be a little different. The tires seems to be less grip, track less grip. Everyone seemed on edge in practice. I know I was. All the guys I watched seemed to be incredibly loose getting in the corner. And I think that's really going to play a big factor in today. And racetrack seems to be like wide. I think the bottom's going to come in pretty good in our race too. So I think you're going to see a great race today. Hopefully the same result on our group. I was fairly happy with our stuff in practice. Really proud of the effort we made in qualifying. So hopefully we can just have a shot at it, at the end of the day. So appreciate Wabash being with us. Appreciate Ford. Hopefully it's a good day and we can repeat what we did last year and get some more family to come down and celebrate.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Marty, you heard it, on edge. I think that's a word we're going to hear a lot today as Ryan looks to go back-to-back.
I think that's accurate, Kim, and I want to follow up on that because you just heard Ryan Blaney talk about how edgy the cars are. We saw Kyle Busch wreck yesterday, DJ, which you don't see very often. The bumps in turn 1, that's been the problem. But why is it a problem this year?
He took everything I was going to say. But no, it is a problem because the bumps are more severe now. There have been more races here. They've had a winter to go through here, so it's more severe. They're in a bad spot, too. There's a lot of bumps around this track, but there's a couple as you enter into turn 1, high-speed part of the racetrack, and then into turn 3. That's the worst place for the drivers to do that. The racetrack last year was new to most of the drivers. Some had run Xfinity race here, but then they repaved part of the track in the corners, the bottom part, so it really wasn't like what they knew. And then you heard Blaney talking about a new tire here, maybe doesn't have as much grip. So it's really a whole new learning process, and they're going to use the first part of this race to learn as much as they possibly can to get ready for the end.
Well, teams hoping for a smooth day on the track and also on pit road, as Steve Letarte points out. The key to a good pit stop centers around one person, the Jackman.
The Jackman is the quarterback in every pit stop. Their movement starts and ends the stop. Using a 25-pound hydraulic jack, they lift a 3,500-pound car in just 0.8 of a second. Then they sprint to the other side. Precision, timing, and biomechanics in sync with the rest of their crew. Swinging the jack around the back creates speed and momentum. Any delay adds time. The Jackman blends physics, engineering, and athleticism under extreme pressure. One job, one shot, all in under 9.5 seconds.
Pit crews, pit stops, and that Jackman could and probably will absolutely change the results of today's race. But to appreciate where the pit stops are today and what we see today, I think we need to throw it back to remind everybody what pit stops look like. This is in the mid-'80s, the famed Flying Aces. Look at the Jackman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pumps just to get the left side of the car off the ground. Not so much anymore. We look back just to this year, the Coca-Cola 600. Watch the Jackman for Reddick. Swings the jack around his back from his right to his left, around to the left side of the car, easily one pump, and still has to hang a tire. Take a closer look. The athleticism and the coordination to not lose grip of that jack is impressive, but it doesn't have to be that fancy. There's still some old school to it. We go back to Iowa a year ago. Ryan Blaney's car went to victory lane. This is a pit stop from that race. You see the jack man pretty standard in front of him. So many ways to get it done with the jack. Dave Burns, you've caught up with the jack man. Let's break it down some more.
That is the winning jack man from last year, Jordan Osinski. And so, Jordan, we were just talking about the fact that there's a couple different ways to look at you getting from the right side to the left side of the car. What are the pluses and minuses for the different ways?
So I think, when you talk about the behind-the-back choreography that we're starting to see more of, I think their biggest advantage there is, the angle of their eye vision to seeing how quickly the right rear is done. Is they've got the ability to kind of cut the right side of the stop, a little more accurately than somebody, I guess, kind of like me. I'm a two-hand snatcher, so after the right front, I'll slide to my side of the jack, where I'm right here. Me being my athletic strengths, I guess, I'd rather be spring-loaded with my legs. Some guys, they're really good at being able to stay tall and kind of use the jack to create momentum for them. So it's just kind of like, where can you maximize your physical strengths? Which choreography works the best for you? I know there's a handful of guys that are probably going to go to the behind the back, but it's like, where we're at in the season, what's the risk for reward? Do you want to try to learn something new when the stakes are getting higher, or do you want to just, maximize what you can do well now and then kind of use that as an off-season trick and, just move forward that way?
Awesome explanation, Jordan. I got to tell you, I'm not good at any of it. I tried, and I guess I proved that earlier today when I learned that 195 pounds is not enough to get that jack handle down on its own. It takes technique. It takes probably 80 more pounds, and Marty, I don't have either.
A-plus effort, though, Dave. I have to say, I have to defend you a little bit. You eventually got the car up high enough to take the tire off. It just took a little while. I was going to give you an opportunity to retort, Dave, but great job.
Marty, yeah, we tried, and we did. We conquered eventually.
Fantastic job on all of that. DJ, time for today's DraftKings odds.
Yeah, this was kind of easy for the odds makers. Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney. Yeah, put them up there. I'm going to tell you, if you're looking for a little bit of a long shot, though, look down at Brad Keselowski. He qualified 5th.
On DraftKings Sportsbook, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use the promo code SPEED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. When we come back, time for today's pre-race ceremonies as we close in on the green flag from Iowa. Countdown to Green is brought to you by Sonic. Live free, eat Sonic. Well, you couldn't ask for better weather in Iowa as the NASCAR Cup Series gets ready for 350 laps of short track action. Time for today's pre-race ceremonies.
Iowa Speedway fans, please rise as you are able. Remove your hats, and veterans render a hand salute as the Iowa National Guard Honor Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer today's invocation, please welcome the pastor of Lutheran Church of Hope, Mike Householder.
Let us pray. Almighty God, bless all the race fans today as together we take in the sights and sounds of NASCAR, the roar of engines coming to green, the speed, the color, the thrill of a three-wide pass. Watch over all the drivers, the crew members, and the officials, and keep them safe. And God, as we cheer on our favorites to victory, remind us of the ultimate victory you've already won for us by your amazing grace. Fill our hearts with that grace and love, for only your love has the power to change our world for the better and forever. In Jesus' name, amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome member of the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the Nadas, Tony Bonenkamp.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early task gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled...
Time to get the engines fired and go Cup Series racing in America's heartland here on USA.
This weekend, the NASCAR Cup Series returns to the farmland to tackle Iowa Speedway for the second year. This D-shaped oval may be new to the Cup schedule, but is no stranger to chaos. Designed with input from NASCAR legend Rusty Wallace, Iowa blends fast straightaways, tight corners, and progressive banking that encourages side-by-side battles throughout the race. This track may be just under a mile, but it is no small feat. Iowa Speedway will deliver everything fans love: speed, contact, and high-stakes strategy. Iowa is notoriously hard on tires. The combination of rough asphalt and long green flag runs means tire fall-off is significant, and managing it is key to staying competitive. We called up with Todd Gilliland to hear what the drivers have to say about Iowa Speedway.
It's kind of been a theme, right, of bringing back these iconic racetracks, and I feel like everyone was a little bit worried going to Iowa because, you know, the groove was always up high, right against the wall, which was interesting, and it would kind of move around a little bit, but with the new pavement, it added so much grip to those bottom kind of 3 lanes, and the progressive banking has really helped that. So only those 3 lanes are kind of usable, but you can use any section of that asphalt, and it's really nice. It put on probably one of the best races that we had all season long, and I definitely think it'll be one of our best races again this year.
Last year's Cup race was the series debut on Iowa pavement. Kyle Larson took the pole and led the field to the green, but it was Ryan Blaney that came out on top, leading a race-high 201 of 350 laps. Blaney's late race tire strategy, incredible track control, and firm hold through 8 caution restarts led him to claim the first ever Cup Series win at Iowa. The road to the playoffs continues straight through Iowa Speedway. Let's tune into the action.
Sold out crowd at Iowa Speedway today where just one driver knows what it means to win here in the Hawkeye State, Ryan Blaney.
Out here, it's quiet. Just rows of corn in the wind. Then, like it rose from the dirt, Iowa Speedway, a bull ring in the middle of nowhere. Ready. Cracked pavement, burnt rubber. This place doesn't shine, it scrapes.
That was the most ridiculous caution I've ever seen in my life.
Last year, we brought speed, but we earned that win with grit.
Checkered flag. Awesome, man. Awesome job, guys. Way to stick with it all night, man.
Every lap here is a battle. Every inch, fight.
Gave him a shot, and up the track you win.
Yeah, we're going to let that go.
You don't cruise to victory here. You claw for it. Heat, bumps, chaos, it'll find your weakness.
Lock it down here, lock it down.
But that's why I love it. It's honest. No hype, just heart.
80 friends and family are here.
We had a lot of people here tonight cheering us on, so they willed us to that one.
Now we're back, and we know what it takes. Cornfields, concentration, and a whole lot of pain. Let's get after it.
Oh, how outstanding was that? I mean, what a weekend Ryan Blaney had here last year. You have that many family and friends involved, and you go out and you dominate a race and win the first race here. Just outstanding.
And
Fun
the family
stuff.
back this year
Yes, they are.
as well, DJ.
Repeat they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get the engines cranked, let's check in with Dave Burns.
And Marty, keep an eye on the 20 car of Christopher Bell this afternoon. Why is that? Well, fastest in practice, the 20 driver was only able to go 17th best. So he'll start back in the field a bit. I asked his crew chief, Adam Stevens, so what's the deal? He goes, we actually were just a little bit tight in the center of the corner during qualifying. Driver may have underdriven it just a little bit. But I look back to last year when we took a backup car after crashing in practice and made it to the top 4 by the end of the race. Bell knows how to race here. We've tuned it right for today, Kim.
Well, last year it was William Byron trying to chase Ryan Blaney down in the closing laps of the Iowa race. Ultimately, he had to settle for runner-up. This year, Byron is hoping to best that by one spot. A win for this team would be exactly what they need. It has been a tough summer for the 2014, finishing 27th or worse in 5 of the last 8 races. But the morale, it is not down. Crew Chief Rudy Fugel told me they still have got speed. They qualified on the front row, Marty.
And Kim, you got to watch his teammate Kyle Larson as well. Back-to-back top 5s. Could it be a win today for Kyle Larson? Let's get the engines cranked here in the Heartland.
Iowa Speedway. Give a big NASCAR welcome to Stu Swanson. By day, he's the president of the Iowa Corn Growers Association. But today, he's here to say the most famous words in motorsports. Take it away, Stu.
Drivers, start your corn ethanol powered engines.
Fired up when you're ready, Brad.
The engines have fired and the crowd goes wild for the second straight year. Fans have showed up for Cup racing at Iowa with a sellout crowd, including over 80 friends and family of Ryan Blaney. They got to celebrate last year with their driver. They're hoping goes back to back. It is 350 laps of racing in America's heartland. The green flag coming up in the Hawkeye State.
The stars of the NASCAR Cup Series. Fun, fast, frantic. That could easily describe what we're going to see this afternoon here on the world's fastest short track. As NBC Sports on USA welcomes you to the NASCAR Cup Series Iowa Corn 350, powered by ethanol. Oh yeah, it's going to be quite the afternoon. Hi folks, Lee Diffie along with Jeff Burton. Great to be back with you, and we're super excited this afternoon. Jeff, this track is less than a mile, but boy, it packs a punch.
Oh my gosh, it was a huge challenge yesterday. We saw event after event. You know, Tyler Reddick, he gets out of the groove, almost wrecks. Hamlin, he has an issue. Kyle Busch, he did wreck. He tore his car up big time. It just was a huge challenge. It's rough. It's very rough, and there's so limited grip. When you get out of the groove, all you can do is catch it. Unfortunately, some guys are not able to.
And keep in mind everything that Jeff has just said. The countdown is on. Just 4 regular season races left. This is Kyle Busch's moment that puts him in a backup car and to the back of the field. So while all of this has been going on, first and foremost, people are thinking about points. People's focus is on the playoffs because, as I said, just 4 races remain. Which driver, which situation catches your eye?
Well, I look at Alex Bowman and Chris Buescher. Everybody may think they're locked in, but they're not. If we get a new winner, Priest, Busch, Gibbs, Allmendinger, anybody outside of that group, they win. Now we got a tight point battle. There is a lot of racing left to go before the playoffs start.
All right, cars out on track. That's a good sign, so we're getting closer to that green flag flying. All right. With thanks to the Iowa corn growers, let's take you to today's starting grid. And for the 6th time this year, Chase Briscoe is on the pole position. Can he convert it to win number 2 today? Talking of 2, the second row. It's Kyle Larson and Austin Cindric. Larson was so good here a year ago until he crashed out. Starting behind these 2 on the 3rd row, Brad Keselowski, yes, continuing this positive momentum. He starts alongside the defending race winner Ryan Blaney. The 4th row, Carson Hocevar and Chase Elliott, who leads the regular season points. What a qualifying performance yesterday on the 5th row by A.J. Allmendinger and his former teammate Justin Haley. Behind them on the 6th row, Denny Hamlin. Can he get another win? Boy, what a year it's been for him and Josh Berry. Then we go back to row 7, Michael McDowell and Joey Logano, defending series champion.
Row 8, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman, tons of momentum with some great finishes lately. Christopher Bell, 3 wins in 2025, fast in practice also. Row 10, Cole Custer, Ty Gibbs. Ty Gibbs, $1 million winner of the in-season challenge. Row 11, Ace SVG, Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick was fast yesterday, but he had his hands full. He said he didn't care, just make my car go fast. Row 12, Zane Smith, Riley Herbst. Zane Smith putting a good season together. Row 13, Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez. Daniel Suarez, 9th year last year. He is not sure what he's doing next year.
Back in row 14, 2 drivers a little disappointed with their qualifying effort. Chris Buescher and the 600 winner this year, Ross Chastain. Making up row 15, John Hunter Nemechek will start next to Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who finished 5th, starting 35th a year ago. Row 16, we have Noah Gragson and Ty Dillon. Ty making his first Cup Series start here at Iowa. Row 17, Ryan Priest and Todd Gilliland coming off the best finish of the season, 6th last week at Indy. Row 18, Cody Ware. Next to Cody will be Joey Gase from down the road in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. This is the home track for Joey. In row 19, by himself in a backup car, Kyle Busch after that big wreck in practice.
All right, before that green flag flies, let's get some final updates from pit road. We kick it off with Dave Burns. Dave-O?
Lee, with 4 races to go in the regular season, NASCAR's most popular driver is also NASCAR's regular season championship leader. That is Chase Elliott, but it is slim. Only 20 points over the next 3 drivers, 2 of which are his own teammates. Lots to race for here today, even though he's already in the playoffs, Marty.
Dave, I love what Denny Hamlin told you in Countdown to Green, where he said, this is the only oval where I just don't have enough information to tell the team what direction to go to make the car better. Chris Gale, his crew chief, echoed that to me this morning. He said, of all the teams who should know where the track's going to go today, we did the tire test. We should know, and I have no idea where it's going to go. So, Diff, the unknowns of today, I think that's going to make for an exciting race for the folks at home to watch today.
I think that's a theme because of the newness, for want of a better word, of this circuit for the NASCAR Cup Series.
No idea was a common thread in the garage area this morning as I talked to some crew chiefs. And then they would start the conversation with some confidence. Jeff, the track is absolutely gonna, well, I don't know, maybe. And they would dwindle as their confidence would go away.
It was a great year last year for Ryan Blaney aboard the Team Penske Ford. Let's go inside. Let's eavesdrop. Let's have a listen to a recent radio transmission.
Have a great day, everybody. Trying to do what we did last year. Stay in the game all day. The best job I can for you. Let you know what I need. Look good down there. Have fun. Be safe.
Good positive message from Ryan Blaney to his crew. Hey guys, here's some other good news after the scorching temperatures in Indy last weekend. 76 degrees today, a lot more comfortable. It's quite odd, it's quite rare in the NASCAR Cup Series that there's not a lot of information, there's not a lot of history on a track, but that's the circumstance here, and I'm really pleased to say that NASCAR is back on NBC. Let's go with the Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol. Great start from the pole sitter, Chase Briscoe. And on the inside comes William Byron. Slick move to get things going on the first lap.
William Byron making the bottom of the racetrack work. That's going to change throughout the day. He's going to try to have to figure out, is the bottom or the top better on restarts?
Good start too from Austin Cindric. And Brad Keselowski, look for that predominantly white car. Down on the low side there, inside Kyle Larson. Nice move. Keselowski's continuing, Steve, this positive momentum.
Yeah, it was a slow start to the year for the driver of the 6. Remember, they added that third car for Ryan Preece, and I think it hurt the 6 as Cindric passes Briscoe for second. But that positive momentum is real. The 6 is finding it at the right time of year. Too late for points, but a win would still put him in the playoffs. Oh, as he bounces or slides up in front of Larson. Little indecision out of the 6 right there.
Look at that, nice move on the inside of Chase Briscoe. So Keselowski continues to climb, and the reason why Steve said points aren't going to do it, it has to be a win. The boss at RFK Racing, he is buried in 25th position in the playoff standings.
Chase Briscoe, he is struggling right now. He does not have the grip that he needs to be able to drive the car in the corner as deep as he wants and be able to accelerate. You can see the back of the car sliding around. Everybody knowing track position is important. You've got to take advantage of a car when you see him struggling.
And Briscoe has to somehow remain patient. I know he feels like he's bleeding spots because he is, but with as treacherous as this track is, you just can't panic. We're still only 5 laps into the race.
Look out, here comes the Hurricane. Hocevar is in the mix in that black and red 77. Ducks down the inside of the defending race winner.
It almost takes a few laps for your eyes to adjust the way this track races. I know it's defined as a short track under a mile, but it's high speed like an intermediate style tracks, just the movements come much quicker. Tight battle right here between the 5 and the 19. The 5 needed that real estate on exit. The 19 doing a nice job.
One thing I noticed in yesterday's Xfinity race, Steve, is that some cars that would take off loose, not the rear grip they were looking for, would be better on the long runs because they're probably going to build tighter, meaning they're not going to turn as well as this run goes. If you can start a little bit loose and manage it, maybe that'll be better for a longer run. I know that's what Chase Briscoe is hoping for.
There is an early breakaway trio at the front. William Byron, Austin Cindric, Brad Keselowski have gapped. Here's that lead trio. They've got at least 2.5 seconds or more over the pole sitter Chase Briscoe.
And this first lap is this first stage is 70 laps, 110 available on fuel. So no pit stops required. A caution could change their decision, but no pits required under green.
Hunt Brothers Pizza onboard cam. Let's go for a little ride with Joey Logano. Chase Elliott on the inside of Carson Hocevar. Here's AJ Allmendinger in the Celsius machine for Kaulig Racing. Spoke to AJ yesterday at length. He wasn't overly optimistic about their short track package at the moment, Jeff, but his qualifying was fantastic.
Yeah, good qualifying effort. And the key now is, does my car do what I wanted it to do after practice, right, Steve? Like we had a practice. Nobody was completely happy with their car. What kind of changes did I make overnight to make it drive better today? And were they good or were they not? Making that decision and what the next changes are going to be under a caution, that's really what this part of the race is about.
On board right now with the Bob Discount Furniture Cam on Hamlin. New scheme on this car. And I don't take his interview quite at face value. He was really downplaying because I do believe he doesn't think he has an advantage. He does at most tracks with experience. And I know last year didn't go well enough. I think he was trying to show some humility. But don't let that cover up where he knows deep down inside his skill set can get there. It's just a question if the car balance will match what he's looking for. Think about that, Diff. Everywhere else we unload, he has more starts than perhaps everyone in the field. This is one of the few that he's on equal footing.
He didn't test here. His car was tested by teammate Chase Briscoe, and they're all running on a recently developed, a different tire by Goodyear, both left sides and rights, different construction.
And the construction work, the real change was really for failures. Last year we saw a lot of rear tires have issues, mostly due to abuse with some air pressure, but Goodyear wanted to give the team a little more leeway. No issues in practice, no issues yet. Knock on wood, 338 laps to go. I know if I wasn't quite fast enough, it's that forbidden fruit. Air out of the rear tires just adds grip, adds speed. We'll see if anyone dares go there. Look at this side by side. That's the 43 of Jones, the 45 of Reddick on the left side of your screen. That bright red 45, and then on the right, that's Riley Herbst in that monster 35 under attack from Suarez.
Had a conversation with Eric Jones this morning in that 43 car. And I said, Eric, your car looked really good yesterday. I know you didn't qualify very well. And he said, Jeff, I'm really, really happy with where we are. So a lot of positivity in that team. He and John Hunter Nemechek, Legacy Motorsports, owned by Jimmy Johnson. These guys are heading in the right direction.
And those drivers have really enjoyed the greater input from the 7-time champ who has recently moved back to the US from England. Jimmy is a regular figure in the race shop, and for his two young drivers, that means a lot.
Oh, can you imagine having an opportunity to spend time with Jimmy Johnson and learn the lessons that he learned, try to shortcut it so you don't have to go through those things? It's a huge asset. But I don't think just for the driver, Steve. I think that Jimmy is an asset to the entire organization.
Yeah, when you have that much experience at this high of a level, it's almost osmosis. I mean, just being around him, you know, it doesn't have to be a specific meeting or lesson or conversation. It's every comment, every small input. Although I love Riley Herbst right here, rolling around the bottom. I love that look out of that 35. We're going to get two monster cars on the screen. Confused me completely. The one on the left, the 54 of Ty Gibbs. The one on the right, the 35 of Tyler Reddick. Remember, first year full-time Cup Series. That's the third 2311 entry.
Back up front, William Byron has led every lap thus far. Good aggressive move early on Briscoe and then took off, but Austin Cindric and Brad Keselowski are going with him, and you still see that separation from Keselowski to Briscoe, which is 2 seconds.
I think Brad has the fastest car right here. Just trying to find a way to get around Cindric and then ultimately get around William Byron. Marty, what do you have on the 6?
Yeah, Jeff, the team would echo that thought. They think Brad Keselowski right now the fastest car on the track. I want to follow up on what Steve said just a moment ago. Steve, I had a long conversation with Brad Keselowski this morning. He said, I think folks don't realize what our specific team, the 6 team, went through in the offseason. We changed the crew chief, both race engineers, the car chief, and then we went to race at Daytona. We didn't have any time to get to know each other or practice or really get to know how we should operate the team together, and we've had to learn each other throughout the year. In this day and age, Steve, how difficult is that task for Brad Keselowski? As you see Jeremy Bolins on the right-hand side, his new crew chief this year. They've worked together in the past, but that doesn't really matter. New car, limited practice. It's difficult to kind of rebuild a team.
Yeah, I mean, you basically get 20 minutes of practice, which is a light version of practice from pit road, qualifying on the race. That's a full weekend. You know, Jeff, in our day, we would have 4.5 hours of practice over 2 days. That gives you 2 nights to take a breath and talk about it, split a meal, have more conversation. So I just do believe it takes time. You know, I give the addition of Ryan Preece an A. I thought they did an amazing job of adding a 3rd car, but without a doubt, the 6 took a step back. I'm glad to see Brad not continuing that. I know he's the owner, right? But I want to see driver Brad say, wait, we can get better. They have done that, and they have been on the trend here. Big 5th last week in Indianapolis.
4 top 10s in the last 6 races for Brad Keselowski and the 6 team. We're up and running here in Corn Country. NASCAR on USA. Busch Light is giving away $1,000. Follow Busch Beer on X and enter using hashtag BuschAllForOne, hashtag sweepstakes during every lap that ends in 1 for a chance to win cold and smooth cash. Welcome back. Lee Diffie, Jeff Burton, Steve Letarte with you here at Iowa Speedway. 41 laps to go in this opening stage. It's been caution-free, and every single lap has been led by that man there just flashing through the screen, William Byron. But look who is on the charge and on the chase. Brad Keselowski has cleared Austin Cindric and has his set sight on the race leader.
The charge is coming from behind, and the busyness is up ahead for the 24s. He's now caught the back of the field. First car under attack will be the 51 of Cody Ware, but just up the street in front of him is Gragson, Busch, Dillon, Stenhouse, Priest. These cars know that we're about halfway through or past halfway, you know, in this first stage. They just want to, like, just be patient. How much are they willing to fight the leader as he comes through the field? But look at the 6. Man, the 6 really rolls the middle of the corner. I think that's the strength.
Right on the white line. You know, a lot of drivers are up the racetrack a little bit, using the second lane, but Brad's able to be disciplined, and he really can put his car wherever he wants to. Sometimes he's right on the white line on the very bottom. Sometimes he's in the middle. Has to be happy with where he is.
So, Jeff, Hamlin was very vocal in his interview that he has very little experience here. You could hear his lack of confidence, even though I think it'll be fine in the race. You know, Brad's won here a few times in Xfinity. Very different cars. The track's changed. It's repaved. Do you think any of that carryover is real when you get in the race? Any small things, anything you can lean back to, even if it's from a decade ago?
I think that's the difference at this level, Steve, is the small things, right?
Yeah.
It's all the fine details, whether it's driving the car or how you set the race car up. That is what makes the difference. So, yes, I do believe past experience, and not just at this racetrack, but just in general, just life in general as far as driving a race car, that's where experience is a huge advantage.
You know, 3 wins and 7 starts in the Xfinity Series, so the success here is real.
Let's talk more about the 6 and Keselowski with Marty Snyder.
Yeah, Lee, the guys were saying that Brad can turn to the bottom of the racetrack. What Brad said on the radio when he was trying to pass Austin Cindric a moment ago is that I have to get lower to, quote, get out of the wake of the car in front of him. And he's trying to do that to William Byron once again. So when I chatted with Brad this morning, I said, how's the speed? He said, excellent. I said, best speed since when? He goes, all year. Best speed we've had all year long. He said, if we can execute today, we can win this race. So far, he's proving true, and he might get the lead here, Diff.
Getting close. 34 to go in stage 1. This is the greatest challenge we've seen to the race leader, William Byron. Soon as he zipped by Chase Briscoe on the opening lap, it's been all his race until now.
You see Brad Keselowski rolled the middle of 1 and 2 really well, but just did not have the rear grip he needed on the corner of exit of 2. You can see the back of the car moving around. Now they got to navigate through this lap traffic. If I'm Brad Keselowski, I'm thinking about how do I use this 4 car, Noah Gragson. The second that William Byron gets in his wake, I need to take advantage of that. And I think the opportunity is the strength of the 6 car. That's lower than the 24. If he could get Noah to move up the racetrack a little bit, take that air away from William, I think that's how Brad can easily make this pass. Noah loose, saw the 4 car get loose getting in the corner. Up the racetrack, that's a disadvantage to William Byron. Here comes Brad Keselowski trying to take advantage of it.
Been a long time since Keselowski went to victory lane. So, boy, it could not come at a more fitting time with 4 to go until the playoffs. Win and you're in. Gets a little loose there.
Yeah, he just needs Noah to run the second groove. Noah's running lower, so it's not hurting William Byron through the center of the corner, but a big run right there on corner exit by William.
Here we go, look at this. And how much of an impact, how much of a factor will Gragson be in the outcome, and how long will this go on for?
See how loose the 24 car got on corner entry? Now this is really the first time we've seen William Byron have to be this low on the racetrack. He's nervous right now, Steve, because if he doesn't pull this pass off, that could present an opportunity for Brad to get by him.
And the 24 has to be very careful, because while the 6 looks good on the bottom, I think if the 6 gets to the right rear quarter panel of the 24, then it's game over. 6 is going to try to roll that second lane right here.
He'll gas it up to try to get to the quarter panel on exit. Not quite there.
Yeah.
Now the 24 might have to go back to defense. He might have to think lane 2. He does. I think that's a good decision by the 24. Make the 6 go the hard way around, which I think is the bottom of the racetrack.
What a race.
Yeah.
The 6 just doesn't quite have the rear grip on the exit of the corner that he needs.
And guess who's coming back into this picture? Here comes the 2 of Austin Cindric.
And ahead of this battle, Noah Gregson's doing a really good job. Obviously struggling with this race car. Not happy with it, but he's being very disciplined and making it difficult for these guys.
These two, trying to sort and work each other out, have brought multiple players back into the picture. Bottom right of your screen, the pole sitter, the 19, the Bass Pro Shops Toyota of Chase Briscoe. So all of a sudden, 2 becomes 3, becomes 4. And Kyle Larson's not too far back either.
Now that the 6 is there, this is going to make the 24 tight on corner exit. If he can get close to that quarter panel, he can actually affect the air to the outside car.
It's an interesting waiting game, isn't it? Like when, can, how?
Well, this is how it happens. It happens a foot at a time, although now there's a big stack up in front here. The 4 has actually run the 8 down of Kyle Busch. That blue car right there, the blue hood. Now you're on board with Kyle Busch, that Cheddar Scratch Kitchen onboard camera looking back at Gregson. So your point about the job Gregson's doing, he's run the 8 down.
Yeah.
Now Gregson, he's dealing with the same issues that William Byron was dealing with.
And Stenhouse has everybody stacked up, because in front of Stenhouse is a couple seconds of clear racetrack. So this battle right here with that blue and orange NOS Energy Chevrolet, the 47 of Ricky Stenhouse, that 10 of Ty Dillon, that side by side has made a mess behind him.
William Byron, he's underneath Gregson.
That's the first time we've seen a change in pattern, but Noah's hanging tough. Finally, there's an avenue by for William Byron. Or is there? This is endless. And patience and precision has to be employed. And here comes Keselowski now on the inside.
William got loose on corner entry. That has been a problem all weekend long.
This is going to be the opportunity for the 6. Side by side in front of the 24 is going to make the air the worst it's ever been. Keselowski gasses up. I love the extra low exit. Love that. Straight shot off.
The wall. You'll see him right there. Pin him.
Both rows running in front or running in the middle of the racetrack. That was an advantage to Brad. Let's see if they do it again. Oh, Stenhouse way up the racetrack.
That's opened things up. Keselowski's door-to-door with William Byron. 22 to go in stage 1.
Yeah, the 47 gets back in line, now a lap down. The 24 and the 6 continue to battle for the lead.
We told you earlier it's going to be frantic, and it hasn't let us down, and we're only in stage 1. William Byron continues to lead, and he's done that for all 49 laps so far. Oh yes, it's still going on as you rejoin us watching the Iowa Corn 350 powered by ethanol. Positions remain the same. William Byron continues to lead and fend off, hold off Brad Keselowski. Meanwhile, trying to put Kyle Busch a lap down. Backup car for Busch. The Cheddar's on board. Tell us more, Dave.
And Lee, his crew chief Randall Burnett told me the worst fear that we have is getting lapped early. There's the leader right there on Kyle's tail, William Byron. He said he's going to have to go hard, but we have to get the car right too. This is the radio from Kyle.
I got you, pal. Left front's not working. Overshot it too tight.
That was Randall responding to Kyle Busch. It's too tight, and you can see right now he's about to get lapped.
So 14 to go. He wants to hold up the 24 as long as he can, even if he can't stay on the lead lap, because if he can hold the 24 up long enough that he can't get by the next car up the road, the 10 of Ty Dillon, that's the free pass for Kyle Busch. Jeff, you and I go back and watch these races in review, and it can be one position all the way back at lap 56 that makes or breaks an entire day for someone like Kyle Busch, who has started from behind in this backup car.
Yeah, and they said they overshot the changes. Made the car too tight. Well, they wrecked yesterday because they were too loose, right? And so,
I would overshot too.
Yes, I mean that's makes it difficult to make the right decision.
So you heard Steve mention that the 8 is a backup car. The reason why is Kyle suffered a really brutal crash yesterday in practice. It was abrupt, it was fierce, and it was not much fun. Boom.
Man. We saw all day in practice, drivers really struggled keeping rear grip in the back of the car on corner entry, and Kyle's came around on him and he just could not save it, Kim.
Yeah, and as we look at William Byron in the lead, he's got pace, but the balance of that car is going away. Here's what he told the team on the radio.
Building tight on the long run, brakes are not good.
You heard him say tight on the long run. The team said we think it is an air pressure related issue that's causing your balance issues, but you heard him say that the brakes aren't great. Jeff, he didn't really elaborate any more than that. So what could he be feeling in the car to just give a generic the brakes aren't great comment?
Well, it's a difficult racetrack, Steve, for brake selection because it's a short track, but it's an intermediate. Like, which is it? And so it's easy to not hit that package exactly correct. So you may have a problem with enough friction. You may have a problem where you don't have a full pedal, meaning you go to the brake pedal and it moves a little bit before it starts to stop, so you don't have full braking power. So the only thing they can do is maybe make a change in their cooling as the battle for the lead heats up.
William was very quick to praise and thank his team yesterday post-practice, pre-qualifying. He said, I was having a brake issue, but the team were able to get me ready for qualifying and kind of rectify that to the best of their ability. Qualified obviously very well on the front row.
That's what I'm wondering. They had a spongy pedal yesterday that they fixed. So without more descriptor, I would say the same issues returned. That's how I would take that if I was Rudy Fugle.
Dave?
Lee coming up on pit stops in just a few laps as we watch this battle for the lead. There goes Keselowski to the bottom.
8 to go, make it 7 to go. And this battle just is endless. It's awesome here at Iowa Speedway.
It's easy to get underneath him in the middle of the corner. It's hard to make the pass on corner exit. Keselowski needs more forward momentum up the racetrack there.
And the 24 just needs to make sure he doesn't overdrive the middle of the corner because
Get him, man. All clear. 6-1.
TJ Majors encouraging his driver Brad Keselowski from on top of the roof. But, you know, the William Byron just needs to make sure that Brad can't gas it up with having that outer line clear.
45 races since Brad Keselowski went to victory lane. So that's what's driving this run right now, this encouraged, inspired run, and continuing this momentum. As we go back to Dave Burns. Dave, let's finish that story you started before about Chase Elliott.
Well, fans will recognize that pit road, Matt, they take down pit lane before the green to get an idea of whether or not they'll be speeding when it is time to pit. This was Chase Elliott's radio right after that.
We spent those last 2 sections on pit road. Any thoughts on that? It was by a fair bit. We need to get a plan to adjust it down here.
So Alan Gustafson realizing they were too fast. I've heard up and down pit road, several others were speeding. Steve, what adjustments do the teams make in this case before pit stop?
Well, what I would do is I would just give my driver a different target on his lights on the dash. There's a curve on those last couple sections, so you would probably speed up. Normally over a curve, you can run a little bit faster time over distance, so sounds like that's what he was saying is, hey, Chase, we're going to give you a different target when you get to that final curve on pit road.
This battle for the lead, Brad Keselowski has changed his tactic. He has gotten higher on the racetrack. He consistently has been trying to pass William on the bottom. Now he's used the top lane to get momentum.
Yeah.
The 20 loose on corner entry. Brad makes it happen.
Finally, Keselowski finds a way through to the lead, and here comes Austin Cindric. So for those 67 laps led, and just like that, William Byron loses 2 positions.
What a great job by Brad to recognize, hey, what I'm doing is not working. I'm not going to be able to get by continuing it. So he moved his line. He got up the racetrack. That allowed him to have all that forward momentum getting